So, you've been with us for a while now. We want to get down to a subject that's really important if you're going to be an influencer. So, it's one thing to be an artist, but another thing to be an influencer, because all of a sudden you have a unique dynamic that not everybody gets to kind of like juggle. So, being an influencer means that you're going to be influencing culture. It could be your neighborhood's culture. It could be the world's culture. It can be any kind of culture, really. Mm-hmm. It also means that people are looking at what you're doing and they're being influenced by it. So that is what influencing culture is on a micro scale. So this is called the curse of the maker's manipulation, because I believe every artist will have this moment of testing. That's a weird way to put it, but you will face this moment where you have to decide, am I going to manipulate what I do to fit in, sell more, be more commercial, or am I going to stick to my vision? So every artist has to come to this place where you do stick to your vision and you have to decide, and it's really up to you. I don't want to decide for you, and I don't think Grace does either, right? We don't want to decide for you whether you are going to be I don't want to just say authentic. You can choose what your authentic self is, but are you going to do art as your primary, function, or are you going to be more commercial and have marketing be your primary function? Some artists choose to only make songs that people like.
And
that's okay.
And there's nothing wrong with that. So we're not telling you to do one or the other. It's either art or something marketable and never the twain shall meet. That's totally not what we're talking about.
It's not.
Because ideally you want a blend of both, so that because you want to stay true to your art, but you also want to be able to sell it and make money and influence people. So obviously you want to find a balance between the two. And yes, some artists choose to follow trends, and they work hard at it. They research what are the current trends, what are the upcoming trends, because you don't want to actually know what the current trends are, because by then it's too late to jump on board.
Right. It's too late.
You want to know what the trends for next year is going to be, so you can create something for it. Because if you know what the trend is today, it won't be that next week probably.
Right.
So if you're creating something now, it's too late. But there's nothing wrong with that, and everybody should keep up with trends to a degree.
And it's kind of fun.
We talk about that in a different chapter a little bit about keeping up with trends and current events, and that's important because you want to know your audience.
Totally important.
But yeah, you do need to decide at what point are you going to change what you do to fit in with trends, and at what point are you not?
Right.
And either one is okay. There isn't a right or a wrong. We're not giving you a line that you must not cross. But it needs to be a line for you, and you need to decide what that line is.
Yeah. Are you going to be an artist first and then kind of a marketer second, or a marketer first and an artist second? And so for me personally, I've decided to be an artist first. So there's certain trends that I'm just not going to hop on board with. I just don't want to. And you should set those boundaries, which we'll talk about later, right?
Mm-hmm. Boundaries.
You should set those boundaries in place and kind of know what your function is as an artist. Mm-hmm. Do you want to be someone who's very organic and authentic and kind of shifts culture in that way? Or are you just trying to be in the middle of culture that is being shifted? And so that's something important. Are you going to be an activist with your creative process and what you're doing? Or are you going to just be someone that's making some fun art? And that's something to decide, because it's going to lead you to a different demographic of people. It's going to lead you to create differently. It's going to lead you to reach differently. And these are things that we wish we would have thought through and actually been able to articulate 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. And that's the whole point behind this, is not necessarily making you feel as if you need to choose one or the other, but putting the cards on the table and saying, this is what you need to at least consider so that you can be your best in the future.
Absolutely. It's all about you choosing what you want to do. Again, we're not telling you that you should do one or the other, or this or that, and don't let anybody else tell you either that you should do this, or you should be a political or cultural activist with your art. Well, some people choose to do that, and that's a good thing. But not everybody chooses to do that, and just because someone else does doesn't mean you should too. All art should be activism. Well, yes and no, but who defines what activism is?
Right.
Does your art bring joy to somebody who's feeling down? That's activism in my mind.
Yeah,
it affects somebody in a positive way. It causes somebody to think about something differently, even if just for a minute.
Right.
So just because everyone else is telling you or doing a certain thing, or telling you should do a certain thing with your art, if you want to, that's fine. Again, it's not about you should do this or that, but really the only thing we're telling you you should do, I guess, is to decide what you think you should do.
Yeah. Yeah. So with that, what do you think you should do? Do you think that your art needs to stay very pure, authentic, or are you one who wants to kind of be in the middle of the trends and just kind of have fun with it? Not that you can't have fun either way, but what do you want to do? Is it marketing first and then art later? Or is it art first, marketing second? So make that decision so that you can be fully enabled to do what you know that you feel this calling to do.